Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to talk about the surge of migrant gang members committing crimes in the city of New York, because now the NYPD has come out and said it. Yes, they're here. Yes, this is a problem. Yes, this dates back to about 2021, 2022, and we need to do something about it because these people are insanely violent. They're coming here to commit crimes, and right now the NYPD is completely unprepared because the country was unprepared to actually vet these people, get them out of the nation, and they need the tools in order to fight back. Now we're going to get into this, but before we do, thank you to everyone who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
They're trying to tackle the rapidly escalating violent crime among Venezuelan gang members in the city who have gotten into New York.
Fox 8's Linda Schmidt talked to the NYPD, who says this crime wave is one of their greatest challenges.
So right off the top, they talk about this violent gang from Venezuela that has arrived in New York City that the NYPD is sounding the alarm about. And to be clear, the gang that we're talking about is actually a Venezuelan prison gang, which does lend some credence to the theory that maybe the nation of Venezuela is letting prisoners out as long as they go to the United States of America. Now, we actually talked about this on this channel before, and what seems like is actually happening in Venezuela, from my estimation, is that Maduro is cracking down on the gang members, so they're fleeing his regime. Although I do want to point out, it would not be the first time throughout American history that somebody tried to send their criminals to our shores in order to create problems for us over here. I just say, as of right now, the evidence for them being sent via the Venezuelan government is not exactly accurate. It looks like, as of this moment, they're fleeing the crackdown that has been implemented by Maduro in order to shore up his political support. But let us not forget the reason why we're in this situation. It is because Joe Biden campaigned on and initiated into policy this idea that all these asylum fraudsters should surge to the border because that's who we are.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
And now we're dealing with new violent gangs from Latin America who should have never been allowed in this country in the first place. So one of the things that is just casually said in this particular segment is that the NYPD's gang task force is essentially making the case that they don't think that they can get a handle on this, and in fact, they expect the crime to get significantly worse in the United States of America, in New York City in particular, before there's any resolution.
Well, you know, basically what you just said right there, this is one of the NYPD's biggest challenges right now. Now, the NYPD expects the migrant Venezuelan gang crimes to actually get worse in the city before it gets better.
And that is because this gang is extraordinarily violent. They don't appear to fear the police, and the worst part about it is that the New York City taxpayers are paying for their food and housing, and they're using that money to jumpstart their criminal enterprises. They're actually extorting other people who have immigrated to the United States of America. So we're in a situation where all of this crime is being facilitated and encouraged by the national government, by the Biden administration, and local areas are feeling the brunt of this. Now, I also want to point out, because a lot of people are going to say New Yorkers voted for this, therefore they deserve this, that what I'm saying about New York City, about these Venezuelan gangs, is true not just of blue cities who under the previous administration passed extra sanctuary city legislation, but it's true of every place that these people go. These gang members are entrenching in Florida. These gang members are entrenching in Texas. They're setting up multi-state, multinational criminal enterprises because this is on the federal government. It just happens to be the case that New York offers extraordinary benefits to these people. And to highlight another blue city that, by the way, of course, doesn't track whether or not somebody is an illegal immigrant when they're arrested, but does track country of origin, we've seen in Chicago the number of Venezuelan-born people who are being arrested go up exponentially because the gangs are there as well.
They're waving the guns around.
Correct.
Waving guns and flashing gang signs on this video. The NYPD says these are suspected members of the ruthless Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, which has been infiltrating the U.S. for the last 2 years.
So they show clips of a music video, and because YouTube has a violent content thing, and I'm pretty sure the AI is actually going to detect something right there, I had to black off the screen, but essentially what they were doing was a simulated killing of somebody where they pointed a gun at someone laying laying on the ground. Just so you know, YouTube gods, nobody was actually killed right there, but for those of you who are wondering why I cut right there is a reason for that. It is because of the consequences that my channel will face, because they'll legitimately argue I'm showing you a murder, even though that's not the case. But the most troubling part about this is that these suspected gang members that are in this particular video that is on YouTube are here in the United States of America.
NYPD Assistant Chief of Detectives Jason Savino telling me it is believed this video was made while the gang members were in Ecuador, and its purpose is to recruit new members.
Then, when you fast forward, you see the same individuals where? In Times Square. So that's our concern.
Now, I'll also point out that the people in this video are overusing the lightning effect, but as you heard, these people made this video, or they appear to have made this video in Ecuador on their pathway to the United States of America. And again, that is not speculation. These people are actually in New York City. We have video of them making the trip all the way here.
The NYPD says Tren de Aragua has been making it over the border with the migrant influx and is getting established in New York.
So unsurprisingly, when you let millions of people surge to the border and you're not vetting them, people with bad intent, people who are part of criminal enterprises that they want to expand, are going to come along with them. And as you can see right here, we have this example of this group of illegal migrants, this group of gang members making their journey to the United States of America, documenting it, ending up in Times Square. And obviously, the NYPD is right when they say that they're sneaking in with these people that are migrating to the border, and this is due to the fact that we have no border enforcement. And obviously, we got to get these people out. We do not need another serious Latin American gang embedded in the United States of America, but the Biden administration is wholly incompetent in this regard, and unsurprisingly, these people end up in places like New York City, although again, they are all over the country, because if you are going to infiltrate the United States of America, wouldn't you go to a place that refuses to turn you over to immigration enforcement because they don't want to be seen as these bad, horrible racists that send criminals back to their home country?
What we do see is they are trying to grow.
The gang has gone from petty crimes like shoplifting and stealing cell phones and jewelry to all-out shootouts in the streets.
So they show you a bunch of different various crimes that have gone on in the city of New York. I've actually talked about a great number of these: the shoplifting, the brawls, specifically the moped robberies, and how they are tied to this Venezuelan prison gang. But of course, it has escalated to the point where these individuals are armed, they're firing at police officers, and this begs the question, in a city like New York City that restricts the hell out of average everyday citizens owning firearms, how are they even getting these guns if gun control is this magical, amazing thing that prevents criminals from getting guns? Obviously, they don't care about that, and in fact, we had a confession from one of these gang members that they are basically on order to shoot at the police rather than get captured.
Alleged gang member Bernardo Raul Mata recently confessing to police that gang members are being instructed to shoot police officers.
Again, why this person is in court at this moment and not being deported out of this nation, I don't understand. Why we have to continue to feed and house this individual, give him 3 squares when he broke into our country, violated our rights after being given welfare, and then started shooting at our police officers is insane to me. But this is the situation that New Yorkers and Americans find themselves at due to the fact that we're not vetting people at the border, due to the fact that, again, we allow people to not only infiltrate our border who shouldn't be here, but we accept them even when they dump their documents prior to showing up to our border.
Mata is charged with shooting 2 officers after they stopped him for riding a moped the wrong way on a one-way street in Queens. In court, an assistant district attorney revealing what Mata told investigators about the gang.
Tren de Aragua members are smuggling firearms into city shelters inside food delivery packages. That way they don't have to go through the metal detector.
Guns being smuggled into migrant shelters in food delivery packages that are not being screened.
Now again, we have this information from this individual who's in a wheelchair. I hope he got shot by the cops and that's why he ended up in the wheelchair, or at least significantly injured. And by the way, we should still deport him, even though he's handicapped, back to his home country because he disrespected the United States of America. But he says right there that people are are smuggling in weapons with the food deliveries because the migrants have gained control of that, which means at every single level, the New York City government is subsidizing these people and their criminal activity. And just imagine how intimidating it is, how horrible it is if you're actually a legitimate asylum seeker, however few people that are in that legitimate category in the city of New York, and the shelters are essentially being run by this prison gang that has access to weaponry that even average everyday citizens don't have access to.
The gang violence is escalating, and now drugs are coming into the picture.
We're just starting to see a drug called Tusi, which is a pink cocaine type substance.
So now they're discussing this new drug, and to be clear, I don't know anything about it, and I do want to caution anyone who's reading into this new drug at this moment in time to pull back a little bit and understand that the propaganda forces are going to exaggerate it to the extreme at this very moment. It's kind of like in the way that fentanyl is incredibly dangerous, but we see all these dumb videos of people touching it with their skin and all of a sudden going into overdoses. Just so you guys know, those are not legitimate videos. That is not how the drug works. To be clear about that, that is straight up propaganda, but it is quite troubling that this new drug is making it in so that these people can become further entrenched. And the moment to deal with this crisis, the moment to cut these people off, the moment to start shipping these people back to their home country was 2 months ago, was a year ago, but right now it is paramount that we start making moves on them before they get further entrenched. Because once they start recruiting everyday citizens into their ranks, once they start making the average American street gang member that might be of Latin origin that much more violent, it's not going to matter when you send back the ones that are here illegally to their home country. We need to get them out of the population immediately. The NYPD needs to start working with ICE today and start shipping these people out. Again, the fact that this guy's in an American courtroom going through American due process when he is an illegal immigrant who defrauded our asylum system and shot at police officers is absurd in every possible way. Get him the hell out of here. Get his ilk the hell out of here. Every single one of them needs to go back right now in this moment.
It seems like this is a huge challenge.
It's as big of a challenge as we faced.
The NYPD has faced difficult challenges in the past and is determined to win this fight to keep New Yorkers safe.
We're having success. We're taking down networks of individuals. We're up to the task and we'll accomplish it.
Now, look, we get an optimistic message from this detective from the NYPD, and he's saying, hey, look, we're up to the task. We will disrupt these networks. We will take them down. We will make their arrests. But the fact of the matter is, even if the NYPD was absolutely stellar in their performance in identifying, dismantling all these different various criminal operations, the fact of the matter is, under the de Blasio administration, even though New York was already a sanctuary city, he added extra protections for illegal migrants, barred the NYPD from working with them even more than they were already barred from before, and that means that these people are gonna have to go through the regular, ordinary New York criminal justice system. And if you'll recall, because of bail reform, because of raise the age, because of less is more, all of that overwhelmingly disproportionately caters to the criminal. So the fact of the matter is, the only option in order to deal with this is for you to make the arrest on the ground, and when ICE comes to pick them up, to actually be able to turn them over to them to get them out of the country. Otherwise, guess what? Same day automatic release, lower charges, downgraded charges, all of the things that we're normally used to seeing with New York State's bail system are going to go into effect, and that is going to hamstring extraordinarily what the police can do in the city of New York. Again, not to mention the fact that these people are being sheltered, fed, they're having all their supplies met, they're now being given debit cards by the city of New York so they could spend money on all different sorts of various categories. It's an absolute disaster in every possible way, and it requires federal immigration enforcement in tandem with the local law enforcement in order to deal with it. That's how many people have entered this country under Biden's watch. That's how bad the problem has actually gotten.
Now, today I also reached out to City Hall about security and metal detectors at the city-run migrant shelters, and I asked them why food containers are not being screened for possible weapons or drugs. Now, I was told those items are supposed to be screened. every single time. And now the city is now retraining security personnel at all city-run migrant shelters.
So the local news reaches out and says, hey, why aren't you screening these food containers? Why are you allowing these weapons to be struggled in there? And the city says, oh, our bad. We are supposed to be screening that. And don't worry about it. We're going to retrain these security guards. And I just want to point out that these security guards are low-wage kind of workers in comparison to police officers with all those benefits and whatnot. So very likely some of them, at least, are going to be on the take for these migrants, and they're allowing this to go through. But more importantly, even if that's not the case, the fact that we have to train and retrain these people in order to run security at these migrant shelters are just more costs on the taxpayer of New York, who, by the way, is not getting the same level of public services they got before. But this is where we're at in the United States of America. This is the mess that the Democratic Party, the Biden administration, and all these different various sanctuary city ordinances and welfare perks have gotten us in. People take our money, they enter our country fraudulently, and then they use it to start up their criminal enterprises or continue and expand their criminal enterprises from their home country, and I'm absolutely sick of it. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you like the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on the social media, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the absolute disaster that is the migrant crisis. Till next time.